Okay, guys, let us start. So import, what is that you want? You want create store, right? Create store from, शुरू हो गया. हाँ जी, from Redux. So there's a create store from Redux. So this is what we want to start with. So the first and foremost thing, so when you run this, so here you are getting an exception. What is not found? You don't find Redux. So क्या करना है आपको पता है. हाँ, मदद करो मुझे. npm. हाँ जी, आप लोग तो एक्सपर्ट हो गए. पहले तो एक ही एक्सपर्ट था. ओके, हो गया. ठीक है. नाउ व्हेन यू गो हियर, so now let us run, excuse me, let's run this. So that's your Redux. लोड तो हो गया. So I'll throw this off and let this be for your reference. I'll just use this. So this console screen is important for us. Let's move. Okay. Now, now, see, you want to write something to the store. Okay, you want to write something to the store. What you're going to write, it's going to be actions. Whatever you're going to perform is called as an action. Just like in MongoDB, okay, you call it as document. The same JSON, it's called as action here, right? So we're going to create an action. So we create an action and we give it to the reducer. Reducer will do the massaging required, and whatever reducer returns, that gets into the store. So to talk to the store, you should always use something called reducer. From programmer's perspective, reducer is just a function through which you talk to the store. Is that clear? So now let me create a reducer constant one by one. Let us use a reducer, and I'm telling it's a function. Okay, reducer is a function. Is it clear? Now when you want to create a store, you should always tell through which reducer you're going to talk to this store. Is it clear? So I'm trying to use create store. Reducer, comma initial value is this. ये क्या है? Create store is deprecated. ये भी चला गया. Okay. One minute. Acha. So we'll move. Put create stores. That is absolutely fine. So what is the meaning here? What's the meaning here? So to talk to the store, I have to use the reducer. Is that fine? Okay. That should be absolutely fine for you. Now, store. If some changes happens to the store, you have to subscribe. Store dot subscribe is not coming. Store dot subscribe. There's a callback for this. Subscribe. Why the intelligence was not coming? Subscribe works on a callback. So that means if some changes happens to the store, whatever method you have subscribed, that gets triggered. That will tell you these are the changes which has happened. So when changes happens for the entire page, okay, everybody will see what is the change. Oh, this change belongs to me. All the components will take. I hope you are getting some idea. Okay, that is just a simple callback, guys. End of the day. So here I'm telling console.log console.log. I'm just telling store changed. Okay, and here I'm telling store dot. There is a method called get state. So you're supposed to get the state in the store. Right, gentlemen? Okay. So I've just done up to here. I didn't do anything extra. See, I created a store. I have a reducer. Through reducer, you're going to talk to the store. Whatever you want to store into your source, okay, you're going to use reducer. And I'm telling this is a reducer I'm going to use. So store.subscribe, I have this. Okay, so that means if changes happens, I'll get it here. Now, how do you send information to the store? तो क्या होगा? Just देखो store dot dispatch. I told DRS, remember? So dispatch, you're dispatching. What is that you're dispatching? I'm dispatching an action. What I'm doing is an action. Generally, we will call it as type. What is the type of action? So this will be the type. I'm telling I'm going to increment something. Comma. Payload is nothing but the message what you're carrying. For example, in video search, query, that is a change. When the query changes, won't all require the YT search. Okay, that requires a change. So that will actually subscribe for it. Okay, so payload is 1. This is what I have. So you store. Okay, so I'm telling dispatch. When you tell dispatch, just see here console.log. Let us bring console.log later. Now just run this. Fail to compile. क्या हो रहा है? Was not found. क्यों जी? ठीक है. That is unnecessary. Okay. Now we're just having this. You go and see here. Store changed. It is undefined. Okay. So because there's nothing in the store as of now. You all there? There's nothing in the store. Okay. I'm just showing you the basic first. Dispatch. There's a store. Okay. There's nothing in the store. Now I'm telling console.log. One, I'm calling dispatch. When you call dispatch, where will it go? When you dispatch, it has to go to reducer. Whatever you dispatch, it has to go to reducers. Console.log, I'll tell reducer. Reducer is a function, end of the day. I'm just running this. Okay, you go here. And you see when you dispatch, it goes to the reducer. And from reducer, whatever you return, it gets into the store. Okay, so DRS you have to remember. So whatever you dispatch always goes to the reducer. And from the reducer, we actually go to the store. Okay, थोड़ा change करते हैं. So let me change a little. This reducer function will actually bring the state, what existed earlier, and action, which is a new one. So reducer mein, I'm trying to put the state and I'm trying to bring the action. So what is the action I'm trying to send now? It is this with the payload, right? Type is increment, payload is this. So that's what I'm trying to run. Now when you go here, you can see when reducer is called. So you can see that action is getting in. Okay, state is undefined. So yahan pe chalo. Let me put it. Okay, so where is that? Reducer. Reducer. State is equal to this. Action is equal to this. Right, you can see state is undefined, action is this. Is that clear, gentlemen? Okay, initially, so you can see state is 0, action is this. Now reduce the state. I'm returning something. whatever you return from here, that's what gets into the store as a state. Whenever you call the reducer, whatever you return from the reducer, that gets in as state. So यहाँ पे जाके देखो अभी, so reducer, initially it was 0, okay, initially it was 0, it got initialized. So when a dispatch, reducer state is high, action what we sent is this. Is it clear? And store changed, what is it getting? Is that clear? It is immutable. So if you want to write, just think store is a database. You want to write anything to the database, you have to write an insert command. Instead of insert command, whatever you return in the reducer, that is insert command for you. Just think like that. Is that clear? Only DRS you have to remember throughout. Okay, rest I'll tell you how the application state works later. Right? You are there? Okay. So what is an action? Action is nothing but the JSON object, okay, which actually carries your payload, the information, the persistence. Okay, so what has to be persisted? Application state has to be persisted. That is action. And reducer is nothing but a method through which you do the necessary massaging on the action and then allow it to get stored, okay, in the storage. Action, huh? That's what we are going to reach finally. That's what is required. I am putting high, but what is the use putting high in that, right? कुछ और चाहिए हमको. हाँ जी. चलो आगे. You are there? हाँ जी. अभी देखो. Shall I change this? Instead of returning this, I'm telling return state. Return state. Right, whatever state is there, I just want to return the state. But when you enter inside, I'm checking if action dot type, if it is increment, then I'm telling return state plus 1. State cannot be changed, guys. So state plus 1 I'm returning. So if it is increment, I'm telling return state plus 1. See what is happening now, what the reducer is doing. So whatever action is coming, the type of action which is coming is increment. Okay, I'm sending the payload, I'm not using the payload still. Okay, here I'm checking if increment is the state. Okay, if increment is a value, so add state plus 1 and or just return the state. If it is increment, please increment it or else, right? So just this. Okay, now let me dispatch it. See what happens now. See what happens. State is getting changed. Getting right. So if it is increment, I'm doing this job. That should be absolutely fine. And just for our understanding, what I'll do is I'll tell console.log now go and see, you'll get the result. Right? 1 minute. Right, gentlemen? So when you call dispatch, so you should know that whenever you dispatch number 1, it goes to number 2, the reducer. The store gets changed. Once the store gets changed, we have. Yes. Is that clear? So you can just see there. When store gets changed, okay, that gets fired. After store change, it gets fired, whatever we have subscribed. That's a callback what we have registered. Right? क्या हुआ आकाश जी ठीक हो ना मुझे देख रहे हो ना स्क्रीन को देख रहे हो कहीं और देख रहे हो ओ क्या हो गया? एक्सक्यूज मी, समझ से बाहर जा रहा है क्या ये? अभी शुरू ही नहीं हुआ. राइट. So what you have to know is there is a store. I want to feed some information into the store. So information store करने के लिए एक reducer है. Through that I'm going to feed it. Okay. So whenever, okay, so state changes, when the store changes, whatever methods you have subscribed, people would have subscribed. If it is increment, I want it. If it is decrement, I want it. The components will subscribe. We'll see that full-fledged example. First वो basic understand कर लो आप. हाँ जी. Now I am sending a payload. कौन पूछा? आपका नाम क्या है? हाँ? परितोष. परी. ओके. ठीक है. हमारा प्रॉपर्टी का नाम था पेलोड. Okay, payload is nothing but generally the information which has to be processed, which will be sending. It's a general term. इसलिए मैं payload use किया वहाँ पे. Okay, so type भी हमारा ही नाम है, generally used actually. Get it right? So what type of action? So action, what type of action, and what is the information for processing? So information for processing we call it as payload. Okay, whether it's a service layer, you send XML message, they tell what is the payload in that. You send SOAP message, what is the payload? Payload means what message is for processing. For example, employee ID, employee name. Okay, that is a payload for you. But which machine it has to reach? That's not a payload. Header will carry that information. It has to go and reach this service. But payload, which is for processing, I have to use employee ID, employee name, and do the insertion of record on the server side. Payload is what is available for your processing, right? Yeah, the data which has to be processed. That's a payload, right? I'm returning the state. If nothing is there, and the old state, let it be as it is. Huh? State means क्या स्टोर हुआ था पिछले लास्ट टाइम वो आएगा ऐसे ही. जीरो था, इनिशियली जीरो था आपका. हाँ. अभी 10. परी को पेलोडी बना दो. परी जी. ठीक है. हाँ अभी देखो. सो so first what was there? Zero was there. State is bringing zero. Right? Then I'm sending the information. Pari is 10. So 10 को add किया. Next 20 add किया. Next 30 add किया. So the new state finally what I have is हाँ पेलोड भी. ये सिंपल है. ओके और आगे चलेंगे हम. ठीक है. समझे? परी जी. आई विल चेंज दिस टू पेलोड. वो हमारा प्रॉपर्टी का नाम है. No, I'm a little confused with this create store. It's still in. इसका change कुछ और है. I'll see that. I'll get it. If somebody is reaching it, okay. So this is a little old. Now let me move, gentlemen, if you all permit. If not, also we'll move. Time नहीं है. ये ठीक है? हाँ जी. Now I'm doing one more thing here. So I'll have in the reducers generally you'll have a giant switch statements which will have many things like that. Okay, you'll have switch statement or if statements, right? So if the type of action what we are doing, if it is decrement, store में जाएगा minus. आपको तो पता है अभी हम क्या करने वाले. So I'm just telling this is the payload. So I'm telling decrement 10, decrement 5. Got it, gentlemen? The payload is decrement. ठीक है जी. Okay, यहाँ तक ठीक है. So get store, we are just getting it and working on this, right? Store.get store, whatever I have subscribed. Okay, ठीक है जी. I will tell this gentleman as subscriber 1. Subscriber 1. Subscriber. Subscriber. क्या हुआ वहां पे? I want you to know all the subscribers. So that means when you have multiple components, so whichever component is expecting notification, it will subscribe. Okay, it will see if the value changes for me, then I'll get it. Getting it right? All the components are going to subscribe. So I have multiple subscribers. So that is precisely working for you. There is no problem. हाँ हाँ वही तो कर रहे हैं. ठहरो. वो यू आर फोरकास्टिंग. ओके अभी है. ओके चले आगे. इसके लिए टाइप यूज हो रहा है वहां पे. Is it clear? Okay, so let us close this.